And welcome to Baltimore, the CQ Arena, where today the Baltimore Blast take on the Mississauga MetroStars. Paul Mittermeier and Andrew Primrose on the call of the broadcast here today. Blast an impressive 7-1 victory on Friday night, Andrew. And, you know, we talk about offense a lot, but the Blast defense is surging. 5-game winning streak here in Baltimore.
A 5-game winning streak, and that was on display in this game against Orlando, as Orlando came in playing basically for their playoff lives, and the Blast turned in a pretty dominant performance. They struggled in the first half, leading 3-1 at halftime, but really the offense took off in the second half. Tony Donatelli had his breakthrough game. 2 goals, 3 assists from the Blast captain. He broke out. Also interesting to see as Juan Galvis also had a breakout performance, getting most minutes that he's had all year. He'll play again tonight, and it's interesting to see him come on late in the season for the Blast.
Blast are 14-6 on the year. We mentioned the 5-game winning streak tied now with Utica for first place in the Eastern Division of the MASL. Mississauga, the MetroStars are 4-16, Andrew, and going in the other direction as they scored just 1 goal last time out against Utica. They made the coaching change 4 games ago to Rick Titus and John Williams. We saw a more competitive team, a Blast team that had to go up there and win by a goal late, but really at 1-3, they're still not getting the wins up in Canada.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know that it's necessarily a change. You had seen a style change as that Blast game, the first game after they made the coaching shift. That game was a 4-5 game. They played against Harrisburg, did not turn in a good effort. They did not look good that game. Really, the effort wasn't there, and it was addressed by the coaching staff, mentioned on the broadcast that wasn't there. And then it was shown with their biggest win of the year, the biggest win in franchise history, is they upset Utica City. Only the second time Utica City's lost at home. They beat Utica City 9-3, albeit a shorthanded Utica City, and then lost to that same Utica City team up in Toronto, in Mississauga, 6-1.
It's bobblehead day. It's the last home game of the season for the Blast. Here in the MASL, the Blast has wrapped up a playoff spot and will host a playoff game here on April 20th. Blast 68-7 in the last 7 years here in Baltimore. We're underway. Mississauga starts things off, and they have it to start. Mississauga wearing the orange jerseys here today. Here's Mo Baboli. He goes into the corner. That's taken away. Blast have it. Try to clear. It's right back, though. Here's Damian Graham now for Mississauga. Far side. Good footwork, ball skills by Chambers over there. And the MetroStars played in the midfield.
Blast start now with the high zone, and that'll create the turnover as Tony Donatelli steps in front. Unable to control it, though.
Now, good recovery by Jared Phillips there. Defensively off that errant ball.
Smart play by Diesel to let it go through to Van Zella. And the Blast will reset with really their first possession of the game.
And Diesel trying to draw that 3-line violation. Here's Van Zella. Goalkeeper. We'll go over them here in a second. As Van Zella clears. Good ball here for Adriano Dos Santos. Dantas tries to go off the boards. That's blocked away by Baboli. Dantas tries to recover, double team, and Baboli gets through it. Chambers and Mello makes the steal along the boards. Here's Mandela again. William 13-6 on the year, 4.24 goals against average, 235 saves, and a 751 save percentage. Down to the corner, Oliviero met by the Mississauga keeper, Adrian Becic. Becic 4-10 on the year, 7.03 goals against average, 189 saves, and a 636 percentage. Oh, good chance for the Blast. It's kicked out of play by the MetroStars. Top of the arc. It's a defensive clearance by the MetroStars, top of the arc for the Blast.
And all effort there from Andrew Hoxie as he saw where that ball was going, forced it down low, created the turnover, dove down, loose ball there, and forced the ball kicked out of bounds.
4 on the floor for the Blast.
Yeah, Blast a man short.
Late change, Dantas comes on, and a timeout early by the Blast. As just a minute 49 seconds in, the Blast called timeout. Some confusion on that bench.
Well, and that's a shame for the Blast. As you could see coming out here, they were a little short and just discombobulated on the offensive end, and they're just one down. That's a bad mental mistake, and it'll cost them a timeout.
All right, we'll come back after the break. 13-11 left in the first quarter. We're scoreless here in Baltimore.
Stepping into the unknown, it can be difficult to find the way. But with the compassion and strength of a name and the security of the cross and shield, obstacles become openings. As we have for more than 75 years, we'll continue to light the way, using our knowledge to create new healthcare solutions, giving you the power to shine forward to whatever awaits tomorrow. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield. Live fearless.
All right, welcome back here to the CQ Arena in Baltimore. Blast will have the restart opportunity.
The Blast were dangerous on Friday. We talked about the 7-1 win. The Blast were dangerous, 3 goals off restarts, and Tony Donatelli picking up 2 assists and 2 goals off the restarts. That was a dangerous offensive onslaught from the Blast. Let's see if they can duplicate that here today as Mello and Hoxie preside.
3-man wall for the MetroStars. Mello, touch for Hoxie. Hoxie shoots, saved by Betchitz. Good positioning there by the MetroStars keeper. Fought for, Dos Santos has it, Donatelli, crawls, shot, and a goal! Andrew Hoxie puts it home, and the Blast lead at 1-0.
Well, Donatelli picks up his 4th assist in 2 games here, and really appreciate that he got the ball back over to Andrew Hoxie, who earned that play with his hustle. He earned the restart early on, and we'll see here in the replay, he creates the turnover on after getting a great shot off the restart. Then he earns the ball by getting his leg up in front and then Russell's down to the back post and lunges for that ball. That would have been a bad one if he didn't score there to take that much punishment crashing in the wall and not get the goal.
Yeah, when you take the punishment, you want the reward, and he got it there.
The Blast, he'll come off now. And there we go. The Blast for moments, we're back on 4 men again.
1:59 the time of the goal, so they don't get the goal on the restart, but some good hustle creates the turnover, and they convert just seconds later. Here's Mississauga now. Jeremy Raley makes the steal, cuts it to the middle. Thomas has it taken away by Sebastian Lopez, and Vanzella his first save of the game.
A beautiful play by Lopez to not only get the ball away, to create separation and get a good shot on. And William Vanzella had to make a diving save.
Blast will clear. 3-man pressure here by Mississauga.
Jamie Thomas has all kinds of room to run if he can get to him.
He does. Plays it off the boards in front. Cipollani had it lined up, but I think he was distracted there. And that was Galvis, I think. No miscommunication that time. And it'll be a foul on the Blast.
Yep, Ty was waiting for that ball to come down. Galvis was looking only at the ball, didn't see him, and he was going for the bicycle kick.
MetroStars now. Betchich across the yellow line. Plays it to the corner. Lopez. Double team comes. Cipollani jumps in there. Oliviero as well. And MetroStars get it out. Quick shot. That goes wide. Good drive there by Karan. Blast have it, though. Thomas. Good follow. Galvis now back to Thomas. Ball still loose. Cleared momentarily by Betchich. And now try to break out with Brown. It's stolen back away and tackled away by Karan to the corner. Thomas now. Can't beat the double team. Out come the MetroStars.
See Juan Ferrer step on the field for the Blast. He struggled a little bit in the last game out. Wasn't his usual self, and we'll see early on if he's got the pace that he usually has.
Betchich out across the midfield stripe.
The key to Juan's game is he's just pressure. He's high energy. It's movement, and you can see now he's matching Babuli, who's been developed into a dangerous scorer.
Vanzella reads it off the boards and corrals it. Long pass out into the crowd. Another restart for the Blast. It's going to be a defensive clearance.
Top of the arc.
Top of the arc.
So Hoxie, Donatelli, Dos Santos, Mello, and Vinny, the same team in the last restart. They get 5 guys out there. Donatelli's got a lot of room. He's lurking. He sees that space. Wouldn't be surprised if Adriano tries to send it over to him quickly.
He does, and a save by Betchich.
Tony tried to go 5-hole there, and I think he might have had a little more space on the edges. But either way, you don't want to give Tony that much room with that foot there.
Phillips, marked by Dantas. Bring it back out for Mirabelli. Now Baboli. That's blocked away by Mello. Back for Betchich. Nice touch for Baboli.
Blast have numbers high, trying to force the turnover.
Chambers around the boards. In front, Dantas there defensively. Clears it. And Blast will Mississauga will reset.
How about that effort from Mello? High pressure beaten, and he gets all the way back and makes the stop on the goal line. Great effort from him.
Phillips in the corner. Shot by Mirabelli goes wide. Chambers follows up on the far side.
Santos picks up a block.
Here comes Chambers down the boards. Around the turn, it gets away from Vanzella. MetroStars keep it alive. Comes free, shot into the netting by Mirabelli.
Break for the Blast there as Mirabelli unable to get over top the ball.
Here's Vanzella with the long distribution. Hoxie off the boards in front. That's blocked away. Hoxie steps in, gets it from Mello far side. Mello can't make the turn on Brown. He has to retreat and finds Dos Santos in the midfield.
So Andrew almost picked up his second goal of the night there. Nice distribution from William Vanzella on the switch. We should mention for Andrew Hoxie, he picked up the goal. That's his 10th goal of the year. He's now had 5 straight years where he's had double-digit goals. Only 1 out of his 6 years in his career he didn't meet that.
Ball up the boards. Blast double team, make the steal. Diesel comes away with it. Soft pass through the midfield. Mello does well to win it.
It's a shame because if he had pace on it, Mello had room, but kind of a lazy pass from Diesel.
Diesel again, far side. Touch with the left foot. Oh, bad pass here by Dos Santos. Good cross, shot, just wide. Rebound, Dos Santos keeps it alive. Lopez now works on Thomas. Break for the Blast there as they dodge a bullet. Thomas run off by Lopez. Very physical player for the MetroStars. And Baboli will settle now for Mississauga. Stolen away by Hoxie. Andrew very, very active in the midfield.
Galvis will step on for him. See Ty Cipollini come on as well.
Baboli loses the handle. Galvis gets it forward, but Cipollini can't win it. Now Dos Santos steps in. Adriano with some room. Down the wing, cross for Cipollini. Shot and a save. Good chance for Cipollini there for the Blast. Clear here for Mirabelli, but Diesel gets in front. Return pass from Vanzella. Galvis gets it stripped away.
Oh.
Vanzella picks it up and nowhere to go, so he'll regroup.
Mississauga, a bad break there as that ball trickled down. They had 4 guys on William Vanzella alone.
Jeremy Raley with some pressure. Phillips plays it back for his keeper.
Paul, I don't know if you saw on Friday, Jeremy Raley, 2 goals.
Yeah, 2 goals for Jeremy.
Pretty
Good
neat.
to see him get into the goal column there. Yeah. Dantas takes the spill.
Came into the game with only 1 all year and doubled it.
Vinny, of course, dealing with that broken hand. See the big cast on it, and every time he goes down, he definitely feels it. Here's Chambers. His drive goes wide. Donatelli knocks that down. Coran races back into his own end to get it. 6:50 left, first quarter. Only goal of the game for the Blast and Andrew Hoxie. Becic headed away. Elton with a nice play there. Dantas makes a move, and a 3-on-1, but a foul called on Vinny Dantas as Phillips goes to the ground.
Oh, man. I guess not much we can say.
There's Roca now along the boards. There was definitely contact there.
All right.
Becic. Phillips now near side, marked by Donatelli. Now Becic involved now. Karan on the far side.
Mississauga's making runs on the offensive end, but they're very soft runs. They're very slow and deliberate. I mean, it looked like they're just jogging to get to the places, not making deliberate cuts, not forcing the Blast defense to change. I get the movement, but it's got to serve a purpose. Vinny Dantas will get the turnover.
Here we go. Good outlet by Vanzella. Here's Donatelli. Donatelli tries to cross. That's blocked. Lopez doing some good work defensively again. Donatelli has it deflected in the corner, and it comes around the turn for Becic.
One thing I will say that I've noticed with the change in coaching and structure from Mississauga from the previous games they played here, they're definitely making a much more concerted effort to get back on defense, have guys back on defense, and that's shown here early. The 4 games that the Blast have played against Mississauga, 5 games the Blast have played against Mississauga, up to this point, 42 goals the Blast have scored. An average of 8 a game, only giving up 1 so far.
Blast looking to go 6-0 against the MetroStars this year. Raley looking for another goal. Loses his footing, recovers in the corner, but Brown takes it away, and out come the MetroStars. Well, you go back to that first game that Rick Titus coached against the Blast up in Toronto or up in Canada, and it was a battle. 3-0 game for Mississauga to start. Blast needed a couple of goals from Mello in that fourth quarter to get the win.
5-4, and definitely when you look at the previous games, 11-3, 14-6.
Big save by Vanzella. Now here's Mello. Mello shoot and score! Through the 5-hole that time. Mello finds it, and it's 2-0 Blast.
That's beautiful. The first 2 goals, Andrew Hoxie and Jonathan Mello, the 2 bobblehead guys. How about that?
There's the hat.
Yeah, he's got the hat. It's bobblehead night. Look at Hoxie. They're recreating the bobblehead. That's beautiful. How about that? Oh, man. Mello goes 5-hole. You got to love that. That's fantastic. The only thing we got to work on, next time they got to do towards the camera. They got to point towards the camera for you. Yeah, that's the only thing. We got to get the camera shot. But how about that? Mello, Hoxie picks it up. A little bit of fun for the Blast fans. And it's 2-0 Baltimore.
Mello with the goal. Mello, his 18th goal of the season.
I think that's going to be the official timeout, looks like here.
Elton D'Olivero gets the assist. Blast lead at 2-0. Don't forget the MASL now has a podcast. Join host Craig Elston as he talks to players, officials, and coaches from across the league. Takes you behind the scenes of the MASL. Check out MASLsoccer.com to listen to past episodes and subscribe to the official MASL podcast.
No, 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 no.
Jack, can I talk to you? I think you need one of these. You're acting like a kid.
Yes, yes, yes.
Have a blast and score big at Antwerpen Automotive. Jack is saying yes to every deal on all new and pre-owned vehicles, plus discounts up to $15,000 and no payments for 3 months. Now at all 10 Antwerpen locations.
Jack says yes.
Back to CQ Arena where the Blast lead at 2-0 over the Mississauga MetroStars.
And Paul, on behalf of the Blast, all the fans, the players, we want to extend our best wishes to Dolly. She's a longtime season ticket holder that's been battling a lot of health issues recently. And on behalf of the entire Blast family, we want to wish Dolly the best. Dolly, we hope you're listening and you're doing well.
MetroStars starting.
She's got to be enjoying the results so far. The Blast come out strong.
Good start for the Blast. Ball around the turn. Easy play for Vanzella.
Let's go in the mindset of Mississauga players right now. I mean, season's over. It's been over for a while. You're 4-16. You're trying to run out the stretch. You got no more home games left. What do you do? That'll be a 3-line pass.
Diesel just a bit too far for Cipollone that time.
So what's your mindset as a player when you step into this? Are you playing for your jobs? You're playing for, pride?
There's always something to play for, Andrew. I mean, not just what's happening this season in Canada, but putting yourself on tape for other teams and trying to keep yourself in the league. Good save by Vanzella on the deflection that time. Ball off the boards. Here's Galvis down the wing. Galvis in front, off the boards, and Thomas with a drive that goes off the facade and into the crowd, so it'll be a goalkeeper distribution.
Great trailing run there by Jamie Thomas. Just couldn't get over top of it. That's a shame because that was a beautiful play. But back to your point, Paul, I agree with you. I think that, you have a Mississauga team that came in with only one guy.
Giveaway here, cross, Donatelli scores! Great setup from the wing. Donatelli puts it home, and the Blast lead 3-0.
Well, see here on the replay, but turnover created, and Donatelli Now, 3 goals and 4 assists in 2 games as he's waking up, the Blast captain. Offensively, it had some struggles, but has really, and here we see the replay, turnover created.
It's Donatelli who starts it with the turnover and
yep.
gets the return pass and does not miss with the left foot. And it's great to see Donatelli back on the score sheet as he really was struggling earlier in the season with the injuries and trying to get back and trying to get healthy, and it looks like he is close to 100% now.
Yep, and that's going to be key for the Blast. I mean, you have a veteran player. That'll be a 3-line pass.
And when you talk about being healthy, you know, you talk about overcoming the injury physically, but then there's the mental side of it too, to get yourself back into playing shape and back into the game mentally. And I think we're starting to see that from Tony Donatelli.
Well, you can trust your body again, right? When you dial down and you know it's there, you know who you are.
Back touch to Dantas, the drive blocked. Pereira with the wheels.
Look at Graham running that fast after making a play like that. Good for him. I'm sure
good settle by Elton. Plays off the glass for Mello. Mello quickly gets it in. Raley in the midfield behind Pereira.
Nice thought, bad execution.
Oh, if he turns and gets that in front, it's a 3-on-2. Here's Raley now. Blast break the Mississauga pressure again. Elton runs on, that's blocked. Dantas now has it. Vinny turns. Nice touch. Give and go. Oh! Great job as Becic got the hand up, parried up to himself, and made the play.
That's a really athletic play from Becic. He was going the other direction.
Foul here on the Blast. And I thought, really, when you saw it, I thought Mello was going to do the give and go with Vinny, but he crossed him up and actually put the shot on goal. And Becic had to reach back and make the save.
Everybody in the arena thought he was going to do the give and go. He thought he was going to come right back. I think Vinny thought he was going to come back. And Becic started running towards it and then was able to stick his hand up the opposite direction he was going. It's a real athletic play and a great save. Keeps it from being 4-0.
Phillips on the far side now plays for his keeper Becic again.
Blast high pressure has been very successful tonight.
Absolutely. Really put the pressure on Mississauga and created turnovers in the midfield. We always talk about this field in Baltimore, the small field. You can't turn the ball over in the midfield. It always leads to trouble. Ball goes.
Shot there from Babuli as he's, again, and here we go, another one.
Oh, big save. Phillips with the drive, and Vanzella parries that into the netting. It'll be a corner kick for the MetroStars.
So we saw this from Orlando, too. A large prevalence of their shots were coming from outside the arc, the old three-point arc that's still in the turf here. And we're seeing Mississauga also take. I don't know if that's an element. Lee and I were talking about whether there was an element of scheme or if it was the way the Blast defense was defending, but interesting to see it carry over to tonight's game as well.
Elton makes the steal. The Blast possess. Pereira through the midfield. 2 minutes to play first quarter. All Blast here to start it.
Andrew Hoxie steps back on. 3 shots and a goal so far for the big forward.
Here's Donnie Oliviero. Gives it away. Mirabello runs on. Dos Santos takes Mirabello to the boards. Foul called there, pushing foul on Dos Santos. So chance here for Mississauga off the errant pass.
He's over yelling at Oliveira. He had to pick up that foul because of the bad pass. If the pass had been on him, he wouldn't have had to go chase it. Now he's got to pay attention.
Quick shot there is blocked. Hoxie backs it up and then creates a passing lane for Thomas. Off the boards in front and couldn't quite handle that. Alviero couldn't get that one, and now the ball comes loose. Hoxie tries to follow up, but out come the MetroStars 3-on-2.
Tough angle for Babuli. He tries to go near.
That shot blocked.
Great play by Andrew Hoxie.
Yeah, tackled away by Hoxie. Blast have 3-on-2, but then a nice tackle again, this time by Lopez in the midfield. Here's Mirabelli with the drive. That's blocked away. Now Oliviero has it.
How about this end-to-end action?
Oliviero cut off by the double team. And the MetroStars again steal. Baboli.
Ooh, he's got to be careful. There's a shin guard he just stepped on, like he didn't turn his ankle.
It's a random shin guard in the midfield.
Yeah.
Sean Brown plays it back for Becic as Mississauga sets up under a minute to play. MetroStars just can't find an avenue, and Hoxie makes a mistake there. Good chance here for the MetroStars top of the arc to get back into this game with 33 seconds left in the first quarter.
Nope.
Good work by Becic to get the shin guard off the field. Baboli will preside. 3-man wall for the Blast. Quick shot in the corner is blocked by Vanzella. William Vanzella has played outstanding here in the first quarter. 26 saves on Friday night. He's picked up right where he left off.
Yeah, 26 saves on 35 shots, and not only did he make that save, but he somehow managed to keep the ball in bounds. I thought that was going to go out, and they were going to get another restart opportunity. Brilliant play early on from Vanzella, and the Blast look like they're rounding in form.
Drive by Dos Santos is blocked.
17.3 on the restart. Blast definitely aren't conceding here. They'd like to get one more on the board.
The 1-man wall here as Donatelli chooses to go cross field. Here's Diesel. Vanzella with 12 to play. Chip to the corner. There's Dos Santos, the header towards the box. That's knocked away. Good ball by Chambers here to his keeper. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. And that'll do it here for the first quarter. All Blast in quarter number 1. The Blast lead it 3-0 after 1 quarter. Back with more action. You're watching MASL Soccer on MASL TV. All right, welcome back to Baltimore. Blast lead it 3-0 after 1 quarter of play. Don't forget about Kick This. Outside of being on the team, the best way to know what's happening in the MASL is to tune in to Kick This every weekend. Soccer Sam discusses the ins and outs of all the MASL action. Find Kick This every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern on iHeartRadio. Good start for the Blast, and that's kind of been the norm against the MetroStars here this year. Of course, the expansion team trying to find their way here in the MASL.
Well, it's funny, we technically played back-to-back expansion team games, but you can see the difference between the 8 players that came over from Cedar Rapids and the 12 players on the roster for Orlando versus Mississauga team that only have 1 player with experience in the MASL.
Goals in that first quarter, Andrew Hoxie, Jonathan Mello, and Tony Donatelli.
See here on the screen. There we go, we're back in. Some technical difficulties, but we got to figure it out. You can see the team store there. Of course, if you haven't had the opportunity in the Baltimore metropolitan area, definitely come down to CQ Arena, a whole new environment for the Blast after spending the first 30-some years of their organizational history at the First Marin Arena, the Royal Farms Arena, the Civic Center, a whole ton of different opportunities, different names for that arena. The Blast here come to the Towson Arena, CQ Arena in Towson, Maryland, on the campus of Towson University. Beautiful facility, great food, drinks, plenty of beer, and this short, unique field. And here we go, we'll come back to the second half. The Blast lead 3-0. We have the shots on goal from the first quarter. And Paul, when you look at that shots, what story do they tell?
Well, 11-7 Blast. They pretty much dominated play. 7 shots for Mississauga and that 6 saves for William Vanzella. So Vanzella playing an outstanding first quarter as well. With the Blast, unlike the last game up in Mississauga, the Blast flipped the tables on the MetroStars, and they now lead it 3-0 after 1 quarter.
Juan Pereira takes the ball down low. He drives early, tries to get it over to Vinny Dantas, unable to do so. Graham steals it away and sends it back to Bekic. Bekic puts it down, sends it up. Mirabelli, unable to do anything with it, pushes it back. Mississauga trying to get controlled possession. Nice give and go here, but a toe poke right to Vanzella. Nothing to do. And the Blast will have possession. Jeremy Raley starts in the corner, back and forth with William Vanzella. And he's got a wide open Jonathan Mello along the boards, but couldn't find him.
Well, Mello, you got to find that avenue with the pass, and a lot of times you have to go off the boards.
And here's a steal from Phillips, pushes aside Oliviero. He'll take it down to Graham. Graham, good job playing off the board, sends it to Lopez. Lopez with a shot on frame, Raley kicks it off. Graham down in the corner, and Oliviero with a nice steal, but Lopez takes it right back. Here's Mello on the break. He's got room. He pulls it back and settles, going for possession, but now a turnover. Oh, and a late foul called there. Mirabelli called for a late foul.
Well, the second time a Blast player was spilled in the midfield. The first time led to a 3-on-1 for the MetroStars, and that time the late whistle came after Mello went down with the position.
Diesel will have the ball along the left boards. Blast in the black jerseys going against Mississauga, wearing the orange kits. Black on orange. Raley, Mello, Diesel, Ty Cipollini join Vinny Dantas. Mello drives down low, already has a goal tonight.
Mello couldn't quite find the right angle that time off the boards.
Raley tries to hold it down. Mello kicks it back all the way back to Vanzella. The Blast will reset. Mississauga subs out. Jamie Thomas steps on for the Blast. Adriano Dos Santos does as well. Down to Vinny Dantas with space. He'll kick it back out to Oliviero coming off the bench. Almost a dangerous play, but Oliviero saves it.
Well, that was just the timing of that. He was late coming off the bench, and a split second separated a breakaway and Elton getting to that ball.
Good job by Jamie Thomas to win possession back on the side. Ty Cipollini full speed to come off. Vinny will come off as well. Juwan Pereira and Andrew Hoxie step on. Blast lead 3-0.
Really, MetroStars content in playing this 3-2 zone. 3 men at the midfield and 2 in the defensive end, and it's giving the Blast a little bit of a fit right now.
Well, and that's the key to breaking the pressure. A long pass from Vanzella to Juwan Pereira, but Juwan gets doubled up, unable to find somebody coming out of the double team. Mississauga with the steal. Now the Blast will go high pressure. Jamie Thomas forces the turnover. Dos Santos to Hoxie. Hoxie getting pressured by Babuli. Babuli creates the turnover, but unable to control the ball. Vanzella back to De Oliviero. De Oliviero sends it up to Hoxie. Blast turned it over. So what was a well-played first quarter has kind of devolved here a little bit of a back and forth. Babuli crossing the yellow line.
Good step in by Dos Santos over there.
And Andrew Hoxie with the turnover. He's got a breakaway all alone. And spilled Brown, no call. Good defensive play by Brown to beat Hoxie down to the goal. And Baltimore looked like they had a great scoring opportunity, but no dice there for Andrew Hoxie.
That's a good defensive recovery after the mistake. Hoxie sticks the foot out and gets the steal, and then Mississauga does a nice job to get back defensively.
Here comes Mississauga. A guard has the ball down low. Sitting at the yellow line. Tries to go one-on-one with Diesel. That doesn't work out well. Kieran will look at midfield. Mississauga and Baltimore both sub out. 11 minutes left in the second quarter. The score still 3-0. Possession been about 50-50 this quarter. Oh, there's a mistake as Bechik lets it roll underneath his feet. Luckily, it wasn't going towards goal. Otherwise, the Blast would have picked up an easy one.
When something like that happens, the Blast are just like sharks. You can see like the blood in the water as they come and descend on the offensive end.
Turnover here as Oliviero drives down. He takes a shot, saved. High rebound comes out. Diesel controls, tries to send it over to Galvis, unable to do so. The ball will bounce out to Mello, and the Blast will get another substitution. Galvis up at the point position. 4 Mississauga defenders behind the yellow line. Mello, Raley, Cipollini, and De Oliviero. Ball comes over to Raley in the corner. He controls, sends it over to Cipollini.
That time the Blast go over the top of that zone defense. And nice job by Raley to win the ball in the corner, settle, and win the possession. Oh,
Nice pass through, and I think Ty Shipolani tried to decide whether or not he, as we see a foul called along the boards, I think Ty didn't know if it was coming to him or if there was somebody behind him and hesitated, didn't pull the trigger. And that call will be against Shep Haggard, number 23 for Mississauga, and Mello will have a restart along the right boards. He sends it to Rayleigh. Rayleigh with a shot. Oh, Rayleigh sent it down. It was a shot slash pass to Galvis. Galvis skies it up over the boards, and it'll be a restart from the goalkeeper.
a much better start to this quarter for the MetroStars.
Well done settling in here from Mississauga. They'll send it down low. Of course, their illustrious forward, Dwayne DiRosario, not traveling again tonight. Hasn't played both games, the last 2 games here in Baltimore. Hasn't traveled with the team. Offensively, of course, that hurts when you have somebody of his skill not in the game. Foul called here as Thomas is spilled.
Taking that hard on that near side.
Mirabelli will pick up the foul. Juan Pereira just outside the 3-point arc. Referee will instruct the wall to step back. Blast looking to pick up their 4th goal, as Mississauga has done a nice job here in the second quarter of settling down after going down 3-0. Juan Pereira isolate. He doesn't like going to the left foot, and it was seen there, and that should be delay of game there. It'll be called there as Chambers kicked the ball down well into the bench after being called for the foul, and he will get the delay of game warning. Juwan pops up.
You know, Chambers just a little too physical. I don't think he had to extend the arm there. He still probably could have won the ball, but once he extended the arm, Dos Santos went to the floor. That's what drew the whistle.
Pereira urging his Mike Diesel to step back out and clear up room. Vinny Dantas tries to create space, unable to do so against Phillips. Good job by Phillips to out physical Vinny Dantas there, but Dantas fights through, clears the ball. Ball's bouncing around in the corner. Jamie Thomas will kick it back out, and Juan Pereira will reset. Mike Diesel will come off.
Yeah, nice work there by Dos Santos in that corner to win the possession back for the Blast.
Jamie Thomas comes off, and Tony Donatelli comes on for Baltimore. For Mississauga, you have Graham out there, joined by Chambers up high. Well, Bully hasn't been on in a couple shifts recently as Roca comes back out. There we see him out there. Bully unable to beat Dantas. He wants a foul. It's not called. He's just going to turn and look at the official. Gave up possession there as Donatelli's got a break. Brown and Donatelli one-on-one in the corner. The goalie steps out to break it up. Dos Santos and Roca in the corner.
Well, how many times have we seen this? If you're a player, you got to keep playing. I mean, the ball was right at his feet. He didn't get the call, but he had a chance to win it.
Juan Pereira tries to go 5-hole again, and Beckett was the save. That's a 3rd shot I've seen the Blast have gone, try to go 5-hole. They were 1 for 3 so far. Hoxie picks up the block. He sends it over to Tony Donatelli, and the Blast will sub out. Babuli on the left, one-on-one with Jonathan Mello. Mello on Mello. Hoxie bobblehead night has already had his goal. Hoxie has his goal.
Yeah, they took care of that business early, didn't they?
Yeah, that was well done from a marketing standpoint. I think that was discussed, and then they had the prop ready to go. Of course, the sombrero, the symbol of respect that the Blast have had after having to play 3 straight championship series in Mexico, winning them all down there. Galvis. Oh. Look at that effort from Galvis. I thought he snuck it in there, tried to go a quarter volley. And he's come on really strong, getting a lot of minutes. Mello with turnover. He'll go down to the corner. He's doubled up and loses possession, and he's now hurt. He's holding his head. Galvis gets possession. He'll go bicycle kick.
Yeah, right to Betchich, though.
Well, it's a little far there. He's been dialing it up now.
Oh, no, it looks like the shoulder.
Shoulder, yeah. Oh, you know what else, too? He's been dealing with that elbow issue as well. So he's holding it down low, but he'll go off. So not a good look there from Jonathan Mello as he looks to be in a lot of pain. And that'll be the officials' timeout as well on the injury. So we'll take one as well. 6:55 left in the second quarter. The Blast lead the MetroStars 3-0. You're watching Blast Soccer on MASL.TV. And the Baltimore Blast would like to thank Miter USA for providing today's match balls. Miter, founded in Huddersfield, England, is among the world's oldest sporting good brands, starting production in 1817. Miter is a proud partner of the Major Arena Soccer League, providing arena-specific match balls to both the MASL and MASL2. The MASL and Miter share a long-term vision to see arena soccer grow in North America, and Miter's Astro Division ball is the official game ball for MASL League play. It is designed specifically for play on artificial surfaces, and it features a more accurate flight than the average ball and has a 30% reduced bounce to make it play more efficiently in arena soccer. The Blast and Miter, partners in the MASL. All right, here we have a restart after the injury to Jonathan Mello, and Betchick will throw it down low. Graham matched up against Raley. The Blast get the turnover. Brown spills Ty Shipolani there, gets the ball back. Babelli will control at the yellow line. Betchick and Babelli matched up against Jamie Thomas on midfield. Betchick sends it down low to Brown, but unable to do anything as the ball falls to William Vanzella. Vanzella tries to use the boards to get it to Jamie Thomas, unable to do so. Betchick tries to play with it a little bit.
Well, tough pass back that time. You can't field the ball. You played back with his foot, so Betchick did well to keep it out of his own goal.
Jeremy Raley on the ball. Elton De Oliveira comes off the bench. He'll circle around to it. Good job not to pull the triggers. That ball dribbled behind the yellow line. But likely picked up a three-line pass. Instead, he gives the ball away. Brown matched up against Elton. Dantas comes in to help. Ball sends down to the bench. Betchick will control with his feet. Try and kick it up. MetroStars have done a much better job this quarter of controlling possession time, but it hasn't translated to shots on goal.
Well, they haven't been dominated this quarter. They've kind of held their own, but with not too many scoring chances.
Time of possession, of course. Something the Blast take pride in is we'll see a hard foul on the bench. That's De Oliveira spilled by Brown, and the Blast will get a restart right at the midfield line. The Blast bench thought maybe that one had been a blue.
That one could have been two. Here.
Hoxie with a chance. Blocked away by the MetroStars, and it all that quickly is all the way back at William Vanzella. Jeremy Raley will control.
Well, this game is taking shape like some of the Blast games recently have, and the Blast have really done a much better job in the second half of the year, save for that Kansas City game, of playing defensive soccer.
Pass off the boards from Donatelli, and look at that deflection.
Deflected off of a MetroStar into the back of the net. It's a 4-0 Blast lead.
Well, Donatelli and Hoxie tried to do the give and go. Hoxie controlled it, sent it back over to Donatelli. Donatelli triggered the shot, and when Donatelli went to take the shot, it would have gone well over the boards.
First nice block, but then right off the head, right onto the head of one of the MetroStars. I think it might have been Bobbly that time that got it off his head and into the back of the net.
Well, Tony Donatelli, we talked about him getting back on the score sheet. 2 goals on Friday, 2 goals tonight. He's had a heck of a weekend. We'll see him on the league team of the week. Tony Donatelli with a tremendous effort, but a bad break there for the MetroStars as that ball was going out of bounds clearly and then just off the face and into the back of the net. All right, so Mississauga, after all that pressure, losing 1-0 in the quarter, 4-0 in the game. Here's another turnover in midfield. Dos Santos sends it down to Mello.
Good to see Mello back on the field.
Yeah. And you brought it up before with Vinny Dantas with his hand injury. When you have a hand injury, when you have an elbow injury in soccer, it's more of a pain management situation than it is a functional situation. And those two are tough guys. Mello wide open in the corner, calling for the ball back. Dos Santos doesn't find him as this 3-2 zone continues from Toronto. Blast looking to find space in it. Galvis on again. Ton of minutes for the youngster.
Good step in the midfield there by Pereira.
Galvis with a nice job. Oh, and he'll get a foul here as he did a nice job forcing the pressure, but then his feet, and Lee brought this up on Friday, younger player, he steps in, he jabs with his feet. He kind of jumps into his tackles, doesn't run through them, and it creates situations. That was clearly a handball, not called. Graham reached out, knocked it down. De Oliveira saw it. The referees did not. Mississauga controls possession, sends it over. Phillips to Roca. Roca unable to control. Dos Santos steals it away. Dos Santos to Mello. Mello, Dos Santos, Dantas, Oliveira, and Diesel on the field for the Blast.
Getting back to the point about defensive soccer, you go back to the games which the Blast have played. You throw that Kansas City game out. Even though they lost to the Wave, they only gave up 5. They beat Mississauga the game before, gave up 3. They gave up 2 against Utica City in a win here, a 5-4 win over Mississauga, and then they gave up 2 to Harrisburg and 1 on Friday night to Orlando. So they're locking down the opposition defensively.
Rounding into form as champions do. Of course, the mid-season struggles of the Blast, well documented. They worked in a lot of young players to the rotation. Danny Kello several times in the post-game interviews talked about that being on him, as he intentionally made that choice to work in those players. And the Blast in a situation they're really not used to being in, but we'll see if it pays dividends come playoff time. Pass down from William Vanzella to Vinny Dantas. Dantas unable to do anything with it.
Well, ball clear, but again, possession Blast, and with a 4-goal lead, this is their game, this is their style.
William Vanzella looks to cross the yellow line, sends it over to Rayleigh. Rayleigh back to De Oliveira. De Oliveira works it across the midfield. Vinny Dantas fight for it, and he gets spilled by Phillips. Another hard foul right underneath our broadcast booth. Dantas steps up gingerly.
Vinny's usually the biggest player on the field, but he takes a lot of a beating, a lot of physical abuse from some of the smaller players.
Well, this is an interesting Mississauga lineup as we see a turnover here. Lopez has a 2-on-1 break. He takes the shot, tries to go 5-hole, and a save from Vanzella. And Vanzella pops up, tries to go to Cipollini just a little too far. Good job by Phillips to beat Cipollini. And then we'll see a break the other way. Brown again, and it'll be a three-line pass.
Yep. Good idea. It's just such a tough pass to make in this arena.
Any other field, that would have been a brilliant play, but trapped by that 3 lines. Of course, we've talked about it many times, the short midfield. That ball, this is an illegal substitution. The ball didn't go out of bounds. That's an illegal substitution there, as Mississauga substituted their entire team. That ball was not out of bounds. It was a 3-line pass. The officials will step over.
Now, they'll force Mississauga back to the bench. It'll be a 5-on-4 situation.
Well,
Chambers has to come off.
So the Blast will have what amounts to a 1-man advantage on the restart. Dantas with a lot of room. But Bully's wearing a nose pad as that shot to his face. Dantas, and look at that pass. Dantas with a shot, unable to finish it. De Oliveira gets the rebound, sends it right across to Jeremy Rayleigh, and Jeremy Rayleigh with a finish.
Well,
so
Rayleigh back on the scoreboard, Andrew.
Yeah, right? Jeremy Rayleigh, 3 goals in 2 days. Unbelievable. Good for Jeremy Rayleigh. And we'll see here on the restart, 5v4. Thomas works it around. Dantas unable to score on the shot with De Oliveira, and that's the man advantage. There was 1 person down, and that's just a mistake from Mississauga. Not understanding the rules, making a poor substitution there, and the Blast capitalized. And it's a 5-0 Blast lead over Mississauga.
So Rayleigh on the scoreboard again, 5-0 Blast, and Mississauga with the restart. Betches across the yellow, plays it to the corner. Double team on Agard. Wins it back for Chambers. Baboli on the far side. Marked by Pereira. Under a minute to play first half. Good block by Pereira on Baboli. Ball comes loose. Corralled by Vanzella at the corner of the box. Good outlet for Hoxie. Andrew in the corner, off the boards in front, and a goal! Donatelli puts it home past Becic. It's 6-0 Blast. The hat trick for Tony Donatelli. Here's the replay. Hoxie keeps it alive off the boards, and Donatelli fights through. He just wanted that more. Got around Brown and puts it home to make it 6-0. Time of the goal, 14:20. Give the assist to Andrew Hoxie. So Donatelli, the hat trick and an assist, 4 points here in the matinee versus Mississauga. MetroStars trying to get on the board here before the half ends. Blast clear. Becic and Baboli exchange passes. Brown can't handle. Galvis goes to the corner, ball chipped out. Brown heads it back in, 2 seconds, 1 second, that'll do it for the first half. All Blast here in the first half. Donatelli, the hat trick and the assist. Goals by Andrew Hoxie and Jonathan Mello as well. And a dominant first half by the Baltimore Blast as they continue to round into form and get the job done here as the season moves on. They continue to get it done. Let's go down to the field. Andrew Primrose is going to stand by here with David Bascom in just a second. Mississauga with 4 shots on goal in that second quarter. Blast, though, 18 shots on goal in that first half and 6 Baltimore Blast goals here in a 6-0 lead. Let's go down to the field. Andrew Primrose with David Bascom.
All right, David, we've had a couple games here so far where we're going to be up in the arena for this interview. All right, so we've had a couple games where we've done this halftime interview, and the Blast have been struggling at halftime. You come in now, 6-0 lead. How does that change the mindset of what you guys try and accomplish going back in the locker room?
Well, that's the thing. The mindset should not change. And the key to this whole process is that we have to stay focused. We have to still get 5 guys behind the ball. I mean, what we're trying to do, these games are tough too, especially when you're actually in the playoff already. We have to now prepare ourselves for playoffs. We have to be going in playoffs, working on all cylinders and doing the right things.
So speaking of that, you guys defensively have had shutdown. Paul has been talking about on the broadcast. You guys defensively seem to be rounding in form. What has changed into form? What has changed for you offensively now with this onslaught? Tony Donatelli, 7 goals. Jeremy Raley, 3 goals in 2 games. What has changed for you guys offensively that's brought this on?
I'll tell you what, the biggest thing is trust. When you look at a guy like Jeremy Raley, who's now allowed to go forward, right? This means that he's trusting his players behind him. So he knows he's got cover. And that's what we've been trying to do all season. And this is the right time to do it. If we can't get this right now, we're going to really struggle in the playoffs. So when you got the trust behind you, now we can get more players forward. We're always trying to attack, with more than 2 players, and that's the key, and stay balanced.
All right, let's talk about one of the new guys here. Juan Galvis comes on, hadn't played many games so far this year, comes on Friday, gets a ton of minutes, capitalizes with a goal, and then here tonight, he's getting a ton of playing time. What are you seeing in him, and what are you looking to get from him later in the season?
When you talk about a player, very good, skilled player. He's been training. Signed about a month and a half ago, but we just had him training. The biggest thing that we was more focusing on in this training was his defense. Can he defend well? And now he's getting his time to show. This is a time, it's a great time for us, having these games, because now we can get to see these young men play. Now they have to put the time in, because we are going to put our best team on the field for playoffs.
All right, well, good luck in the second half. We hope to see more of that offensive soccer here. It's been fun, and we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Well, there you go, David Bascom at the half as the Blast lead the MetroStars 6-0. We'll take a timeout, come back with more halftime after the break. You're watching MASL Soccer on MASL TV.
Nothing feels better than when my Mega Bank treats me like a number.
Fed up by poor Mega Bank service? Life's better when you CQ. With a smile. With a friend. Any way you need. And wherever life takes you. So, do you CQ?
Welcome back to CQ Arena in Towson, Maryland, where the Blast are taking on the MetroStars. 6-0 at halftime. And Paul, what have you seen so far from Baltimore?
Total domination in that first half. Came out right off the bat, got a couple of restart opportunities. Didn't get a goal on the first restart, but seconds later after a turnover they did. They got a couple more late in the first quarter and then carried that over. Even though they didn't win the possession battle in that second quarter, they limited Mississauga's opportunities offensively, and then were able to put together a nice little run in the last 5 minutes of that second quarter to build themselves a nice little 6-0 lead.
Well, the stats tell the story. 18 shots for the Blast, 11 shots for Mississauga, and we'll take a look at our first half highlights here, Paul.
Yeah, there's the first pressure and steal by Hoxie, and he gets rewarded here from a nice cross from Tony Donatelli into the back of the net to make it 1-0 Blast, and Blast would keep the pressure on. Again, another steal in the midfield, and then Mello goes 5-hole, and Jonathan Mello's 18th goal of the year leads to a 2-0 Blast nothing lead. He gets the sombrero.
Recreates the bobblehead.
Yeah, Mello and Hoxie recreate the bobblehead here. And then a nice cross here off a steal in the midfield again. It's 3-0, and then a ball off the boards. Hoxie, the deflection, and then off of Baboli's head, 4-0. And then after a Mississauga mistake, a save, but a shorthanded situation after a delay game warning. And then here's the last one, as Donatelli just wants it more than Brown. He puts it home past Becic, and it adds up to a 6-0 Blast lead.
Tony Donatelli with a hat trick. He coming off a game Friday where he had 3 assists and 2 goals. Now 3 goals and 1 assist for the Blast captain. Andrew Hoxie, a goal and an assist so far. And Elton De Oliveira, you saw, picked up the other assist, as Donatelli has 2 unassisted goals here tonight. So great start for the Blast to this first half. And we heard at halftime from David Bascombe, they're looking at this game as another opportunity to round into form with playoffs. And Paul, you and I were talking about it. As you look at this division battle, the Blast tied with Utica City. Both teams 14-6. Utica City will take on Harrisburg tonight. With the playoffs being set, there's really no advantage to either team to win the division in terms of the playoffs. But talk about why it's important for the Blast or Utica City to win the Eastern Division.
Well, I don't know how important it is. I think you want to play good soccer. You want to be playing your best soccer of the year as you hit the playoffs. And I think that's something that mentally can give you an edge. You know, we've seen this, we've talked about this rivalry between what was Syracuse and now Utica City, and how close they've been in knocking off the Blast, but never kind of able to get over the hump. Real good squad this year. Blast haven't won up in Utica City yet, and I think they will go there, second to last game of the season. And you know, from a mental standpoint, I think it's more important for Utica City. If they can win that game, they can say, hey, we were able to own the season series against the Blast up here. I think it gives them a lot of confidence going into the playoffs up there. You know, what does that mean? You know, it still doesn't mean that you're going to win. It just means you have a little bit more confidence. It's all about what you do on the field that day when the playoffs do come around. And, of course, the announcement made, the Blast will be home for that series on April 20th. And then they'll go back to Utica to play Game 2. And so, you know, in that scenario, at least you look at Utica City, if they, you know, win out the season series up there, and they got that second game. So regardless, Blast, Utica City, if the Blast can serve at home, would have to win at least one of those games, the first game or that golden goal game.
Well, and it's been funny watching Coach Danny Kelly and David Bascombe in the Blast organization. They've pretty consistently, even though they've won the right to choose, they've typically chosen the first game anyway. So really, both teams didn't have a lot of argument either way. The Blast were happy with Game 1, and Utica City wants that Game 2, Game 3 advantage.
Well, that's why in this format, it really, especially you know, you can make arguments on both sides. You know, some say oh, I'd rather have my second game and golden goal game at home because of that advantage. But Danny Kelly and some others say, well, you know what? I'd rather win my first home game and put all the pressure on the other team knowing they have to win both to go and advance and move forward.
I don't see a huge advantage in the mini game for home field because it's such a quick, you know what I mean, like anything can happen there. It really is not something where you see large swings or the momentum, the fan base, and I think the Blast winning streak over the last 5-6 years in that format has demonstrated that there's really not a ton of momentum that you gain from having that opportunity. So interesting strategies all over the place, but either way, it's set. The Blast will have that home game Saturday, April the 20th, the day before Easter Sunday, and then they travel. It's a Monday night game up in Utica City, so that'll be a little interesting to see the environment. Of course, they've done fantastic things up there, built a great fan base in a short amount of time. Their social media team does a great job. I mean, they really have set the bar from fan engagement up there, and so it'll be interesting to see the type of environment they develop on a Monday night.
Should be a great series, and to tell you that you look at the last two series between these two teams, and when they were Syracuse, they have been great. They've been great series.
They've been fantastic, and we got a second half to get through here. Last half of the Blast regular season game at home. They're beating the Mississauga MetroStars 6-0. Blast in black jerseys, black pants. Mississauga wearing the white shorts with orange shirts. William Vanzella wearing white today at home, and he's going against Bejic wearing green. There's a dangerous opportunity there as Dantas sent us through into the box, and Donatelli gets a shot, but not with much pace on it. Bejic with the save, and he sends it down to Brown.
Well, that was just another situation where the Blast and Donatelli just wanted it more. Phillips a little flat-footed there in the box, and Donatelli just ran through and got an opportunity on goal.
Phillips looks to work it out of his end, and bad mistake there, as he will create not only with a turnover, but a top-of-the-arc restart as he tried to work it along the boards, instead sent it up into the crowd. Tony Donatelli directs traffic. Donatelli, Mello, Dos Santos, Hoxie, and Dantas. This has been the team for pretty much every restart so far, and the Blast have capitalized on several of them. New alignment as Mello on the ball. Hoxie runs through.
Did you see the wall separate, trying to get out to the wings for Dantas and Donatelli? Wow.
Well, I'm sure one thing.
The Blast coaching
staff saw that. There's a ball through from Dos Santos, but Donatelli unable to run on. So we've seen that 2 times now. Ball's off the board with Tony Donatelli streaking through the box. And then we see a third.
Another mistake.
A third.
I think this one hits the board, so this is just going to be a kick in.
Okay.
Yeah, hit the boards.
Hit the boards. All right. That's a lucky break.
Hit the boards first.
So because of that, if it hadn't hit the boards, it would have been a restart at the top of the arc. Instead, because it touched the boards, it goes off there. The Blast will settle for possession of the ball. Just started in the second half. Blast 6-0 over the MetroStars. First place team against a fourth place team.
Kind of quirky schedule for the Blast, this being their last home game. 3 straight on the road to end the season.
3:30 at Harrisburg, the 31st against Utica City. We talked about that game. We haven't talked about the fact that that's the back end of a road trip where they have 2 games in 2 nights. That makes it doubly tough.
That's a good test, though,
Yeah, yeah. Saturday, Monday playoff series. They're going to have to get ready for that. And then their season ends in Florida. The ball walks through. Hoxie unable to finish.
I'm not sure. How did that ball get all the way through the box there?
And not hit Hoxie on top of it.
Not hit anything.
Yeah. Hoxie posted up, but Mello can't find him.
Mello, quick toe poke there on goal. And kind of surprised there, Bejic couldn't corral that cleanly. Wasn't much pace on that shot.
I might have surprised him that it came through. And we finish up the Blast schedule, their last game of the year, their last regular season game of the year. 4-16 in Florida against the Tropics.
I just can't see a lot of players playing in that game with the playoff game looming on the 20th.
Well, and especially, as you said, is the fouls called him a bully there. All right. Didn't see a lot of contact there, but Mello certainly thought it was worth it. It's interesting when you talk about the mindset. If the Eastern Division is not that big of a deal, the other part of this that you look at is from the South Central Division, what that looks like in terms of home field potentially in the second round. And with Milwaukee kind of running away from that, you don't really have that to play for. If it was a 1 or 2 game differential where you were worried about that situation, because in that 1 game series, which the Eastern Conference final would be, that's a huge advantage.
Oh, no doubt.
And we saw that last year with Milwaukee having to travel here to Baltimore as John Orlando gets called for a foul off the ball. Rarely had a break.
One of the first shifts we've seen from John Orlando tonight.
Yep, he had been in the tunnel running, but now steps on, gets his time. But we saw that last year in that series here in Milwaukee. What a great game that was as the Blast and Milwaukee faced off. And I think there was definitely a huge advantage for the Blast to host that game last year in that one-off. And the Blast certainly would not be interested in having to go to Milwaukee if they're able to get past Utica City.
Well, let's face it, Milwaukee, a really tough place to play.
Mike Diesel picks up the pushing foul, and then Mississauga gets a break as the ball is placed over the yellow line. They don't use the advantage. Thomas, Galvis, Orlando, Diesel, and Raley. It's a very defensive-minded 5 that are on for the Blast right now. Mirabelli gets a nice run on the ball, but unable to put anything on it. Babuli will head it back to his keeper. 11:32 left in the third quarter. Ton of action. The Blast had a couple opportunities early in the third quarter, but for the most part been back and forth soccer. And now Mike Diesel will pick up a foul. And Paul, was that a foul or was that a player that fell down and the referee out of position called
Yes.
it? Yeah.
A little bit of both. Good chance here, though, for Mississauga, just to the right of the box.
Chambers went down. It'll be Mirabelli and Babelli over the ball. William will step out into the wall. He's done this before. And he gets the save.
An emphatic save for Vanzella.
With his patented yell after. Brown fighting Diesel. Chambers sends it back. Nice pressure there by Galvis. Almost forces a turnover. And here's Raley. Gets bodied off by Chambers. That was a full 2-handed shove there. Baboli with a nice break. And now they want a handball as Raley slid down. They're not going to get the call. John Orlando, it's a 3-on-2 if he hurries. Orlando can't get through, and that's a takedown. As that was Mirabelli just absolutely took down John Orlando, and Mirabelli's using the opportunity to call for the handball on Jeremy Raley on the other end.
But again, you know, you don't get the call, but you can't stop playing. You know, and Orlando did him a big favor by dribbling back into the defense that time on the 3-on-2.
He had the advantage and didn't press it. Blast will settle for control. It's Juan Pereira, Adriano Dos Santos. Back and forth. Dos Santos with the turnover. Changers capitalizes. He dribbles down. Adriano fights back through and gains possession.
Well, believe me, anytime you have a turnover like that, the guy running hardest on the field is always the guy that turns it over, right?
Absolutely, and especially when it's Adriano. Baboli, Chambers, and Batchett play pass with each other. That looked like a handball, not called, as Chambers gets away with one. Up, and that ball go off William Vanzella. It's not going to be top of the arc restart as Toronto's calling for it.
That hit the boards,
rolled
the glass, the top of the boards, and then went out.
Mississauga, a tough first year in the league. 2 years they worked into playing shape, got ready, rolled up. Started out the season with a interesting, worked out to their scheduling, and yeah, sorry, Paul, somebody step in on us. But they had a tough start to their schedule as they learned the indoor game. And, you know, the last couple games been more competitive. We talked about it. And, you know, year two, they'll look to to play a much better level, much higher level. They have a strong investment in the sport of arena soccer, and I think we're going to see good things up there in Mississauga.
Well, a lot of possession, really nothing to show for it again. As the Blast are doing a good job of pressuring and forcing Mississauga to work hard just to possess the ball. So even though Mississauga has the possession, they really haven't had a chance to set up and get any good looks offensively.
William Vanzella controls it. He'll send it short to De Oliveira. One of the nice things about CQ Arena is that it is wide open along the concourse. Plenty of room to come watch the game as a foul is called on Oliveira down. It's wide open. We have a beautiful space right over top of the field, but the negative to that, Paul, is we're right in the crowd. People want to come over and say hi to Paul Mittermeier.
Well, there's usually not too much of an issue. I think she came over, she wanted to order some food. I was like, we're not taking deliveries right now.
Ma'am, this is a Wendy's. Is Wendy's a sponsor? I don't know. Steve, can we say that? All right, well, here we go. We're settled back in. Everybody's out of the booth, and we're ready to keep rolling. Jonathan Mello picked up a goal. Again, it's his bobblehead night. Him and Hoxie sharing the championship bobblehead tonight on Fan Appreciation Night, the last regular season game of the year. Mike Diesel, William Vanzella over to Mello. Oliviero has some space. Nice little move as Rayleigh tries to send it one touch across and instead sails it over the boards. This got to be a high pass to get over Hoxie's head. And that'll be the officials' timeout as well as a bad pass from Jeremy Rayleigh. It's 7:45 left in the third quarter. The Blast still leads 6-0. You're watching Blast Soccer on MASL.TV.
Every day,
I don't know. She
all
was
across
ordering.
Maryland, we help employers keep workers safe from accidents and injuries. We're Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company. At Chesapeake Employers, workers' compensation insurance and workplace safety have been our mission and passion for 100 years, and will be for 100 more. We help protect Maryland workers because
at the end of every workday, someone's waiting for your safe return.
Connect with your local agent or visit us online.
All right, we're back. 7:45
every day,
left in the
all
third
across
quarter. Let's take a look at the shots on goal here. 19 shots for the Blast, only one in the third quarter, and that's matched by one from Mississauga. So, as you said, Paul, a lot of ball possession, not a lot of action in that third quarter. Hey fans, get the latest news on the MASL and your favorite teams. Make sure you are following MASL Soccer on Facebook and Instagram, and MASL Arena on Twitter. They announce all the league teams, all the the various player announcements. It's a great job by the league to get the information and news out. Remember, Paul, we've done this for several years now, and at certain points it was tough to find out, and you had to go searching for information. Now with the social media, the league does a great job of getting that out there. Easy to follow. So if you have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, jump on and follow the MASL. All right, we'll step back in here as Mississauga will control. Mirabelli gains possession, work back to Betches. Mello tries to force a turnover, unable to do so. High pressure from the Blast as they go with this 2-1-2 zone.
Oh, good save. Baboli got a step on Mello, and then Vanzella read it, was right there to make the save.
Bobelli having a fantastic year so far for Mississauga. 20 goals, 12 assists so far for the MetroStars.
Good individual effort by Chambers there, but shot it wide.
He's played very well here, and Mirabelli set himself up there to earn that foul as he did a good job of positioning his body, and Andrew Hoxie motions for a dive. But really, I think that was just good positioning by a veteran player to get himself in position to draw the foul. Bobelli, I wouldn't be surprised to see him try and rocket a shot here off a tip. Nope, actually it'll go the other way as Phillips takes the shot. Vanzella with a save. Well, save that one for save of the game.
Vanzella says no again. He's just locked in right now.
He really is playing very well. You know, he came back. He missed a lot of games last year and a lot of action with that injury and spent a fair amount of time in the offseason rehabbing. You remember we played the exhibition game against the Canadian national team, and he was still not ready in the fall to play in that game. So great job by him to round in form. And, you know, the Blast 5-game winning streak, they have to take some positives out of that in terms of getting ready for the playoffs. And you know, if you're Utica City, Kansas City, Milwaukee, one of those teams that the Blast are looking to play in the playoffs, you have to think that the Blast aren't dead yet.
No, far from it. Far from it. They are, you know, that's another thing too. You know, people get all excited about how you do in the regular season. But when you've won 3 straight championships, the regular season is used to get yourself ready to make sure you're playing your best when the playoffs hit. Because again, doesn't matter if you're 16-4, 17-3, whatever. It's all about when you step on that field when the playoffs start and how you play that day, which is going to determine whether you win or lose.
Cipollini with the steal, sends it down. Galvis out there. He'll try and win. Oh. Foul is called behind the play as Beck just jumped down. I don't even think there was contact there. But the foul called on Galvis. So, yeah, you bring that point up, and it's interesting the parallels. You look at, like, Golden State Warriors in the NBA and how they've struggled this year in the regular season. How do you stay motivated? How do you stay in the regular season mode when you know that it really doesn't have an impact on you?
Right, and you talk about wanting to be at home as much as possible in the Blast. We talked about 68-7 at home over the last 7 seasons. But if there's one team that's proven they can go anywhere and win in the most hostile environments, it doesn't get any more hostile than Mexico the last few years, and they've proven they go down there and win championships. So they're not afraid to go on the road and win games.
Well, and it's funny because you hear a lot of chatter about the Blast on the small field and the field at CQ. But if there's any team that style of play is not designed for this, it's the Blast. I mean, that's the funny part is if the Blast were doing this for a competitive advantage, they would not have designed a field like this. They would a longer field.
Right, as long as you could get, exactly.
Yeah. They'd play on outdoor field length if they could. So that's the funny part about the Blast playing on a field like this with this size. It's not an advantage for their style of soccer. Ball control and defense first. I know William Banzella wouldn't have voted for it if that was an option. All right, 4:25 left in the third quarter. Blast still up 6-0 over the MetroStars. Game is settled down into a battle of possession. No penalties called so far, which is a little interesting. Both teams under.
They kind of established early they were going to let them play a little bit as far as the blue cards go, and they've been consistent throughout the day.
Well, and really, that's all you can ask for from the men in blue. Call it both ways. Well, on the verge of having 2 back-to-back well-officiated games. Give a shout-out where it's due. I don't want to jinx it by saying it's too early, but we're on the verge of it. There's a long shot, and William Banzella with a save. That was Curran with that blast almost from midfield. William Banzella, full extension, just kicked it off the crossbar. And that's his best save of the game.
Wow.
He hasn't been tested much, but when he has been tested, he's had to make some great saves.
At this point, the way Williams playing, you have to do something special to get it by.
Well, Mississauga has, as Vinny Dantas tries to go across the goal mouth, Telly unable to find it. This Mississauga team has posted the only shutout of the year so far, and it might be a little early to start talking about that, but
yeah, it is.
Paul with the jinx.
It is.
But
you're way out of line here, Andrew. Way out of line.
I'll own it with William if necessary, but that's
way out of line, as you can see.
Unbelievable.
You really don't start talking about that as Damian Graham scores. That's a fourth quarter topic.
That's a fourth quarter topic. Well, William Banzella upset as we see the turnover at midfield, and that's cost Mississauga. William makes the first save, but Dos Santos unable to get in front of Damian Graham, and Damian Graham breaks the shutout and gets the first goal for the MetroStars here tonight. 3:07, and William, I owe you one. I apologize.
Yeah, you're going to probably hear
about that. Yeah,
you're going to definitely hear about that.
100%.
Well, let's see if that creates a spark for Mississauga.
Almost creates a spark for the Blast as a nice give and go. Dantas settles it down, and De Oliveira with a drive, just a little high. Williams screaming at his offensive players to get out there. He's not going to let a letdown. Remember, one of our last home games against Kansas City, the Blast up, what, 6-0?
Well, it was a big first quarter in that game. They ended up building their lead to 7-1 before Kansas City came storming back. Of course, Leo Gibson was amazing in that game.
Yeah, it was Blast 5, Leo Gibson 5 at one point.
But so was Vinny Dantas.
Yes, he was. And a great play by Betchix. Hoxie unable to get to the ball, and that'll be a handball outside, so that'll be a blue card, and we'll get a penalty shot here.
I think we'll get a shootout.
A shootout, yeah. Excuse me, a shootout coming. So, I mean, if you're Betchix, you had to make that move. Hoxie's out there. He's got a breakaway. You make that move.
Well, it was a good play to get out there, but then he really didn't control the ball, and he kind of just left it there.
Right.
And at that point, it became a little out of sorts and tried to recover, and then he was outside the box, kind of in no man's land, and got himself caught with the handball.
All right, so we'll see the restart, and Tony Donatelli, as he's done most of the year, will take this shootout.
They're looking for number 4 today.
Hoxie was lurking there. Did Andrew
well,
want it? Like he was just looking like, hey, what are you doing?
I almost think they were kind of setting up a play there.
Yeah. All right, so the MetroStars players all have to be inside the circle. The Blast players outside the circle. Donatelli will get a chance as soon as the whistle blows. All players can start. As Brown just got an absolute way early head start. He was three-quarters of the way down.
And that helped him get back to make the play.
Yeah. Okay. Referees missed that, but Donatelli, great save by Betchik. The Blast will be on the power play. Dantas over Donatelli. Hoxie trying to create the turnover.
Whoa.
A dangerous dribbling there from Babuli.
How about that? Direct header to the foot of Vinny Dantas to win the possession.
Tony along the wings. There's a shot from Mello, and Hoxie tried to drive it in with his body. It was almost like a hip check goal.
I think that was a little bit of a shot pass there. He saw Hoxie on the post and wanted to see if he could get it to him, and he just couldn't quite connect.
Well, the bobblehead connections worked before tonight. They're looking to duplicate it. Dos Santos into Dantas, shot and a score. Blast with a power play goal. Dos Santos to Dantas. And Vinny Dantas rather, his 22nd goal of the year. That's a career high for Vinny Dantas.
Just a quick touch by Dos Santos and a nice finish by Dantas right at the edge of the box. And nothing you could do there for Mississauga. That's just great soccer by the Blast.
Patience on the power play, and the Blast capitalized. They had dropped down to 39% in the power play, uncharacteristic for the Blast. 39.3 or 0.393 on the power play for the Blast, but they capitalized well there as Dos Santos and Dantas for the Blast.
So the Blast answer that Mississauga goal.
Mississauga had been relatively decent on the power play, 41% power play kill going into that. And now we see Betchik cross midfield. That'll be the call.
That's a foul on the Blast.
Okay.
Not really sure anybody touched him. He kind of got eaten up by the turf monster there, but there was a Blast player close.
Yeah, well, he lucked out because it would have been a call. Minute and 14 left in the third quarter. Goalie's not allowed to travel past midfield until the fourth quarter.
He was really headed towards that way, too.
I mean, he couldn't have stopped himself. He definitely rolled over into it. As there's a foul call. Now it's starting to get a little chippy. That's Phillips that'll get called for taking down John Orlando, and those two had come together before. Phillips argues his case.
After he pushes him in the back.
1 minute left in the third quarter. The Blast and MetroStars both scoring one goal here in the third quarter. William will sneak across the yellow and try and send it down to Galvis, and that was a handball.
Totally outside the box there.
Well, not called. Galvis was in position. Looked like it could have been the second handball called against Betchik, but not called. The Blast have 35 seconds to try and reset and get another offensive opportunity.
Well, the Blast will be content, even if they don't, just to possess this last 30 seconds and take the 6-goal lead into the fourth quarter.
There's a ball through to Jamie Thomas. He gets down in the corner. Blast fight for it. Galvis not giving up. Diesel on the ball. And then a good job by Mississauga to clear, and they'll have a little bit of a break, but Jalen Riley steps in. Great play by the Blast defender, and that'll be a big mistake. 4.2 seconds left, and a clearance all the way in the stands that'll give a Blast the top of the arc reset.
Defensive clearance. What was he doing? What's Phillips doing there? Just play the ball down the field.
Yep. Bad mistake, and again, it's the indoor inexperience. I mean, we're only, we are, for the MetroStars, 20 games into the season, but not used to playing that game. The Blast have the same team that they've had on for the restarts, had capitalized several times. Donatelli with a shot. That'll deflect up into the stands. 2.4 left.
Good block there.
Great step in.
Vinny's going to run him off, and Vinny's just going to wail on this one.
Yep. Don't want to be in front of this if you're a Mississauga player. Good job by the official to back the wall up.
Oh!
Now, I bet you didn't get a hand on that as it went
No.
through?
That was just
yeah.
crushed into the corner, and he just missed the upper 90 there.
There's the restart, and that'll be the end of the third quarter. Both teams trade goals, but the Blast maintain a 6-goal lead. It's Blast 7, Mississauga MetroStars 1. You're watching Blast Soccer on MASL.TV.
When it comes to getting back in the game, there's only one team to turn to. The team more high school, collegiate, and professional athletes train and recover with. That team is MedStar Sports Medicine. For more than 30 years, MedStar has served as a leader in the diagnosis, treatment, and rehabilitation of orthopedic and sports-related injuries. Ranked among the top programs in the Maryland and Washington regions, we offer rapid access to athletes of all levels. Let the pros who treat the pros treat you. MedStar Sports Medicine.
And we're back for fourth quarter action. The last fourth quarter of the regular season for the Baltimore Blast here at CQ Arena. Let's take a look at the stats so far. The Mississauga MetroStars 10 saves total. For Betchix, it's 11 saves for William Vanzella. Both teams have 11 fouls, while the Blast have 5 blocks. Mississauga has 6. 18 shots on goal for Mississauga, 22 for the Blast. And we are underway as Dantas gets a feed from Donatelli, unable to capitalize. Tony Donatelli is just playing active, man. You can tell the health is there. As a
here we go.
There's a quick counter argument from the Mississauga MetroStars, as it looks like Mirabelli finds
Darren Chambers
for his second goal of the day.
Great play here. Great cross by Mirabelli. Vanzella can't get across. A nice job by the MetroStars to score quickly here in this quarter and start to put some pressure on the Blast.
One of the best counters they've had all day. They get to turn over at midfield. The Blast had the scoring opportunity on the other end and unable to capitalize. And the Blast can't let their foot off the gas. I mean, this is a small field. This is arena soccer. Anything can happen. The Blast have seen a 6-1 lead evaporate here at home before.
In the matter of a quarter.
Absolutely. Mississauga has some good players on the field, just guys that are inexperienced in the indoor game. So don't want to give them any spark, any life. And I'm sure Danny Kelly and David Bascom on the bench for the Blast saying that right now. Put this away. As Diesel gets pressured by Graham and almost turns it over.
Well, I'll tell you, the goal has given them a bit of a spark here, and they'll stay in this 3-2 zone.
Blast have to find ways with long passes to beat that. They do with Mello down to Rayleigh.
No, just not accurate there. And that's what Mississauga wants. They want you to try to make that tough pass. And we can see the Blast are capable.
Well, it's patience as much as anything for the Blast. As a double team comes on, ball gets stolen away. Graham has pace, tries to put a shot on, goes far. He probably could have done a little bit with Mirabelli there in the box, but tried to take it himself. We've seen another team take long distance shots against William Vanzella.
And that's another forced turnover by that zone defense by the MetroStars.
Hoxie with another steal, and he gets the shot and a long goal. Andrew Hoxie with those long legs, twists the mustache, and a punch up in the air. Andrew Hoxie with his second goal of the day, and his second goal created by sticking his leg out and creating a turnover.
An awful play by Lopez here. He just held the ball for too long, and his keeper out of position. Lopez turns it over in the midfield, and Hoxie does not miss. Puts home number 2 today. For Hoxie, that's goal number 11 on the season. And it's an 8-2 Blast lead that crushes the momentum of Mississauga.
He played in his 75th game with Baltimore since coming over. He had 57 goals coming into this season and 26 assists as a member of the Blast. And he's waking up a little bit. He had the hat trick up in Harrisburg last week, and then 2 goals here tonight. So 5 goals in 3 games, really. 2 of those.
Another guy, too, Andrew, dealing with injuries this year and trying to stay on the field and try to play less than 100%. And, you know, once you start doing that a little bit, it starts wearing on you mentally about whether you can play or not. And so far, he's starting to round into form. Remember, he was the player that scored the big goal down in Mexico in the championship game last year.
A guy that has had several game-winning goals in his careers. The Blast get a turnover. They have 3-on-1 if they hurry. Dos Santos has room, tries to find Jamie Thomas, but just short. That was another brilliant opportunity for the Blast. So they answer the goal from Mississauga. And now we're going to see a foul called behind the ball. Roca spills Thomas. It is not a foul, or not a card, rather. Jamie Thomas communicates back to William Vanzella. Jamie's got a lot of room down that corner. Couldn't find it. Dos Santos, he'll say that was a pass all along. Missed that ball. He'll get the opportunity to go to the corner and cross the yellow line. Galvis is left all alone underneath that. I mean, he's just wide open down in that corner. There's the pass. That's a very interesting defensive alignment from Toronto to leave a player with that much space in the box. As Galvis and Roca collide, the foul will be called behind. I don't know if I've ever seen a team try and put 2 players that high.
Well, they're trying to force the Blast into making that difficult stretch pass. And the problem when you try to do that, it's a good philosophy to get steals, but if the other team executes, it automatically opens you up for an odd man situation on the other side of the field. And the chess game has been how accurately the Blast can make that stretch pass.
Well, you see Galvis now, and now they collapse back into him just a little bit. I mean, the fronting is one thing, but to give that much space is just as strange as we can't really see. But there's Galvis down low, and you know, one thing this field does afford is that 3-line pass does take away that long driving pass from the midfield. What would be the midfield would be, you know, a 3rd-line pass here. Elton with some space. He tries to make a move, unable to get his left-footed shot off. And he gets double in the corner. Galvis wins the ball, though. He'll drive it down. He's got Donatelli if he can win it through, but he can't. Now he can.
Finally, just pinballs out of the box. An easy play there.
Kind of a lazy stab from Juwan there. And Donatelli will get called.
Late whistle. Late whistle.
They're going to
call that foul back until the Blast possessed, and that was a play on, which was a good call by the official.
No, absolutely is. If they're calling that first foul, I think the players on the field and I all thought that they were calling it on Donatelli, which absolutely was not the case. But Juwan definitely earned it. He just stabbed his foot in. Good job by the young official to step in and say, as there's a shot from the belly, but saved by Dos Santos. And Juwan now has a run down. Betches has struggled a little bit with his feet, but does well there to clear it out. Dantas steps back on. Dantas and Donatelli play the 2-1 game. Betches again out off his line, but kicks it clear. And Mississauga has a 3-on-4 run. Chambers has some space.
That's good defense by the Blast, just to step into the shooting lanes and not allow any shots on goal there on the transition.
Baboli will try and dribble down Juan Pereira. He gets a shot off, but it goes into the why? They're not stopping play here?
Oh, because it was still in field of play.
Oh, I thought it clearly hit the net, but
nope.
I guess not. Carry on. Must have hit the glass. Juan has space in the middle. Mississauga, good job of getting all 5 guys back behind the yellow line. Now playing a 1-2 zone. Switches up, a high man on the pressure. They'll rotate over side to side. So, game within the game, you talked about it, Paul. Adjustments within adjustments. Jeremy Raley at midfield. Finds Mello. Mello gets room, takes a shot, deflected away by Betchik.
Now, Betchik has really struggled with those long distance drives of being able to get it cleanly.
It's a nice little nifty play from Babuli as he takes it up to himself and then heads it back to his keeper. Some beautiful soccer. And here's Mello with a full field run, tries to create some space. Dantas got room, but can't control the ball. And here comes Lopez going against Raley and Diesel. Nobody else on Mississauga going with them.
Well, again, Lopez has to give the ball up.
Babuli with a 2-handed shove of Mello.
You just can't dribble 4 or 5 times in this field and think you're going to keep possession of the ball.
Well, in fairness to him, none of his teammates moved at all. I mean, you had 3 defenders behind midfield just standing there looking at him. So Oliviero had some space, gave it up. Babuli runs down on Raley. Babuli's been very physical with his arms today, finishing a lot of plays with shoves. Raley crosses midfield, but sends it back to De Oliveira. De Oliveira back to Vanzella. 4th quarter, so goalies can cross midfield. He gets it down to Hoxie. Hoxie tries to spin, unable to shoot. Nice play by De Oliveira to keep space. He'll send it back to Vanzella with a little bit more pace than I think he wanted. I don't know if we'll count that as a save for William or not. Hold on, Andrew Hoxie's grabbing his leg. He looks like he might have to come off here. Jamie Thomas was trying to communicate to him, but
it looks all right to me.
He looks all right now. He was holding his leg down. I don't know if it was a cramp or what happened to him there, but here he comes running back. So you mentioned fully healthy Andrew Hoxie rounding into playoff form. He's done well in this situation, creating turnovers, and he does it again. That's the 3rd or 4th time Andrew Hoxie's made a play there on midfield, and he turned 1 of those into a goal.
Yeah, right there at the midfield stripe. He turned 2 into goals. He got
goals,
the turnover
yes,
in the edge of the box in the 1st quarter.
Absolutely.
And then he got the long-range goal after the turnover at midfield in the 4th.
You're absolutely right. 2 goals from Andrew Hoxie, starting with defensive prowess. Oh, look at that pick. Is Diesel, what? I mean, Mike just stood still. I don't know what you're supposed to do in that situation. I mean, it was pretty smart play by the tackle player. I'm not going to get a
Diesel in that situation did not initiate the contact.
He stood still. I mean, he posted up. Dos Santos did a good job of getting a rub off of him. I mean, I don't know that Mike can help the fact that he's a very large man.
Well, he was just, well, the thing of it is he's standing there. He's entitled to his space.
Right. I mean, what is he supposed to do? But Bully presides, drives it, but off the boards.
Chambers ran into him and got the worst of it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, what Mike is supposed to do in that situation, but we talked about it yesterday, is Hoxie with another stop, and he'll try and get through. That's a tough situation for the big man to be in, but he fights through, gets it clear. Jamie Thomas with a slide tackle. He can't get up in enough time, though.
A good hustle to get back defensively by Agard that time.
The Bully will try and drive it up. Betchik is now pushing. He's kind of going that unofficial 6th attacker. Jamie Thomas steps in front of the passing lane, but doesn't finish the play.
Well, now the urgency is returned to Mississauga here, as now they're starting to beat the Blast to loose balls in the defensive end.
Betchik across midfield. And he'll do the same again. Mirabelli matched up against Diesel. We saw the same thing yesterday, or Friday, Paul, in one of the plays where Vinny Dantas get called for a foul just standing there because he's so large. I mean, when you get guys like Diesel or Vinny Dantas, when you have that appearance, it makes it hard to either draw a foul or to commit a foul. Galvis has some room. He's got 1-on-2, but he gets muscled off by Babuli.
Oh, mistake
And
here.
then another mistake by Becic.
Defensive clearance. It'll be top of the arc for the Blast. Timeout on the field.
So that'll be the officials' timeout as well. So 6:15 left in the fourth quarter. Blast 8, MetroStars 2. When we come back to restart in the end of the fourth quarter, you're watching Blast Soccer on MASL.TV.
Every day, all across Maryland, we help employers keep workers safe from accidents and injuries. We're Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company. At Chesapeake Employers, workers' compensation insurance and workplace safety have been our mission and passion for 100 years, and will be for 100 more. We help protect Maryland workers because
at the end of every workday, someone's waiting for your safe return.
Connect with your local agent or visit us online.
What? Yeah, I wouldn't grab Donatelli. Is that you did the other night? You almost have to. Or I guess Hoxie if you want. Not really the player of the game, but he scored a couple goals. Or William.
Well, as we mentioned, fan appreciation night, and you see there, that was the fan of the game running a little long here as the Blast look to do that. Donatelli and Dos Santos on a give and go. The Blast had the restart opportunity. Vinny Dantas, I keep doing that. Tony Donatelli and Vinny Dantas. Vinny Dantas skied it. He was unhappy with himself, unable to get over top of it, but the Blast maintained possession, and that's where you join us.
I think I was a little unselfish there. One of those guys needs to take a shot.
Look at that spin by Dantas. How quickly was that done?
Vinny's become so adept with that move.
There's another turnover from Becic. Mello finds Juan Pereira, and that's a beautiful save.
Becic recovered. A little mustard on the hot dog there from Juan trying to go back heel.
Well, it's 8-2. You do stuff like that, right? Donatelli gets the turnover. Dos Santos looks to find Donatelli. He's got space. Does he pass? Oh, he goes back to Dos Santos. Dos Santos with a drive and just wide.
Adriano had so much to shoot there. Oh.
The Blast just peppering now as they are looking to add their 9th goal. There is Vinny Dantas with a shot and the score. Vinny Dantas with his 2nd goal of the night. And the Blast are just piling on now, 9-2. Here we see the replay, Paul. Back heel from Oliveira and Vinny.
Adriano quickly getting out of the way of that one.
Yeah, nobody wants to be in front of that. Well, hands on the hips from the MetroStars. This has been a rough season for them. They will remember this. And when they get good, which we believe they will, they'll remember the lessons learned in a tough season like this. And they're learning a lesson here now at the hands of the 3-time champion Baltimore Blast. So Vinny Dantas, 2 goals. Andrew Hoxie, 2 goals. Tony Donatelli, a hat trick. It's been the typical Blast, goals spread all over the place, and they're not letting off. As Oliveira forces a turnover by his pressure, rarely collects it. Trying to fight through the pressure as MetroStars go back to the high press. Blast try and get it through, unable to do so. Thomas controls though. Raley, Hoxie, De Oliveira, Thomas, and Oliveira. We have De Oliveira and Oliveira out on the field at the same time. but Bully gets doubled. He'll lose the ball to Jamie Thomas. He fights hard to get back, though. Goes behind, and then a guard spills him. That's not going to be a blue card as he had a breakaway towards the goal.
Just a foul.
Okay. Jamie Thomas motioned up. Looked like he had a free break towards the goal, but either way, the Blast will get a free kick. They don't bring on the restart team. It's Hoxie and Oliviero out there.
Ball didn't go out of play.
Yep, absolutely.
Good drive by Thomas there.
Hoxie with the cheeky play, and he wants the touch there. It looked like it was deflected, but doesn't get the call, and Mississauga will clear. Haven't seen any indication on the bench that Mississauga will go to the 6th attacker. 7-goal game with 3:45 left. Although we will see more of that, I'm sure. Betchik stepping up. But Bully has played a lot here in the 4th quarter. He matches up against Hoxie. Hoxie's done well in this space, but not against Bully. This will be their first head-to-head matchup.
It's interesting. Why not bring your 6th attacker out if you're going to move your keeper into the play?
Vanzella with the save. De Oliviero with the save. The Blast keep the ball out, but Bully drives through. And how about the Blast there? William Vanzella, I don't think he made either of those saves.
Two Blast defenders chesting the ball off the line.
Mirabelli with the shot, and there's Jeremy Raley taking one in the face, and I think we need to stop play here. That was a shot, Jeremy Raley. Andrew Hoxie's got room. De Oliviero and Hoxie alone. And a great job by, who was that, Chambers, to step in and drive the ball out. And I think the Blast off a corner kick. Jeremy Raley's got to get off the field there. That was an absolute shot to the face from Jeremy Raley.
He saved the goal.
I don't think he had a choice, but he saved a goal. 3 saves from the Blast defense there. Keeps it a 7-goal game. Mello over the corner kick.
It says a lot about your team when guys are on the line saving goals in a 9-2 game in the 4th quarter.
Here's Donatelli looking for his 4th. Just wide and just high. I would have put a nice cherry on Fan Appreciation Night here at CQ Arena in Towson, Maryland. 2:38 left in the game. The Blast lead the MetroStars 9-2. Galvis, again, ton of playing time, making the most of it. High pressure. He looks to push Kernan. Betchik again, he's at the yellow line. He's going to take a shot. He beats William Vanzella, but it hits the crossbar. Now he's out. Galvis has got space. It's a 3-on-3 if they hurry. Mello controls in a shot. Nice save by Betchik, and he'll push it out to Babuli. So end-to-end soccer here for the last 2 minutes. I'm going to head down to the field to get ready for the post-game interview. Paul will wrap it up with you.
All right, so Mississauga into the offensive end. Karan stays in the midfield. Blast cleared off the boards, and Donatelli heads it back for Vanzella with under 2 to play. John Orlando on the far side will dribble out into the midfield and run this one out. Here's Dos Santos. Thomas near side. Drive across the box, goes wide, and Donatelli follows on the far side. Dos Santos for John Orlando. John's gotten some more playing time here in the second half. Blast have worn down the MetroStars here today. Got off to an early lead, and when the Blast get off to good starts, it's really tough. They love to play that possession soccer. Here's a shot. Is a nice save there as Galvis couldn't beat Betchich to the near post. Under a minute to play now. Blast are going to put the Raps on their 68th or 69th win in the last 7 seasons here at home. Blast will finish this season 10-2 here at CQ Arena. 21-2 overall the first 2 seasons in the regular season here at the CQ Arena in Towson. MetroStars still playing hard. 50-50 ball. Dos Santos gets a high foot on Karan. That's going to be a 2-minute penalty on Dos Santos. So the MetroStars on the power play with Just 26 seconds left. And timeout on the field taken by Mississauga. Give us a chance to tell you about the MASL and MITRE sharing a long-term vision to see arena soccer grow in North America. MITRE's Astro Division Ball is the official game ball for MASL League play. MITRE's Astro Division is designed specifically for play on artificial surfaces. It features a more accurate flight than the average ball, has a 30% reduced bounce to make a play more efficiently in arena soccer. Blast about ready to wrap this one up. There you see the Baltimore Blast summer camps. Check out the website, baltimoreblast.com/camps-info. Almost, Andrew, almost. All right, here we go. Sixth attacker on the power play. 6-on-4 now for the MetroStars. 20 seconds left. Mirabelli. Ball deflected. Brown runs it down in the corner. Shot here goes into the mesh. It'll be a goalkeeper distribution for Vanzella with 12 seconds left. Fires for Mello. That's headed away. Mirabelli has it in the midfield. Pereira runs him down from behind. Here's Chambers. 2 seconds. 1 second. That's going to do it. The horn sounds, and the Baltimore Blast take the victory 9-2 over the Mississauga MetroStars. Well, all Blast from the get-go. Blast got 3 in the first, 3 in the second, and then 3 goals in the second half. A balanced performance for the Blast. Tony Donatelli, the hat trick and the assist for the Blast. Vinny Dantas with some late magic as well. Dantas with 2 goals. He's got 23 now on the season. The Blast moved to 15-6 on the year, and they, for a moment, move into a sole possession of first place in the Eastern Division. At 15-6, they're a half game ahead of Utica, who is underway in Harrisburg. Let's take a look. William Vanzella played extremely well here tonight. Here's the save of the game. And it wasn't Vanzella who got the save of the game. It was 2 Blast defenders who took the ball off of the goal line after Vanzella made the initial save. As the Blast kept on playing hard till the final horn. Let's go down to the field. Andrew Primrose standing by with William Vanzella and Tony Donatelli.
Well, I think since it's fan appreciation night. Oh. One of the first lessons I learned in my career was you never talk over Gary St. Hours. So sorry about that, guys, but thanks for waiting for us. So, Tony, 2 conversations in a row for you. This has been a heck of a weekend. What are you feeling healthy? What's changed for you? How has this breakout come?
Yeah, I've been grinding away. I haven't gotten the goals or assists that I've been getting in years past, but I remain confident. My ankle's feeling healthier as the season's going along, and I know I'm getting ready for the playoffs, so this is the time to step it up.
All right, and down here, it's fan appreciation, so we'll do 2 players for the post-game interview. William Vanzella, talk about a guy that's coming back and feeling healthy. You've had a great weekend as well. Gave up 2 goals tonight, 1 goal on Friday. How are you feeling?
You cannot play goalie in indoor soccer and be healthy. So I'm trying to do my best to prevent the injuries and focus to get to playoffs. I also want to say it's a fan day appreciation, but we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
All right, so you lost your first 2 games here at CQ Arena ever, 21-2 lifetime. One of those games you lost was to Utica City. You're going to face them in the playoffs. How are you guys feeling as you wrap up the regular season and head into the playoffs against them?
No, we're a confident team. We know they're having a strong season, and they're going to give us everything we can handle. But we're just concentrating on what we can do better to prepare ourselves for that series. And we're still the Eastern Division, they're the 3-time champs, so they're still going to have to knock us off.
All right, so William, you have one more game up in Utica City that will more likely decide the Eastern Division Championship. What are you guys looking at in terms of, is that championship important to you, or are you guys mostly just focused on the playoffs?
No, we're looking to win every game. We try to be more consistent. I think this season we're inconsistent for the most part, but for the last three games, I think we show up and we start to play as a team and we show the difference. So we're looking for wins every game and go to another championship game. That's our goal. We won't change, and we still fight. People don't think we have a chance. They're damn wrong.
All right, and Tony, you heard it there. Anything you want to add?
No, I just want to thank the fans. They've been great all year, and we're looking forward to April 20th, having them here again.
All right, so April 20th, we'll be back here, the Blast versus Utica City. It'll be another playoff battle between you guys. Looking forward to it. Thank you, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, stars of the game here this afternoon, as the health of the Blast team in general continues to improve as they roll towards the playoffs in 2019. That's going to do it here from CQ Arena. A good news final on the last home game of the season for the Baltimore Blast, as the Blast win it by the final score of 9-2.